How do you stop the water getting past your door? Well, what you need is a drip. No, different drip. You need like a channel. A way to direct that water from the outside, if it gets past your rebate, into your door jamb. And instead of like running in and running down the inside of your door frame and making your rug a wet. You don't want a wet rug. No, that's a different channel. Well, what you need is a channel. You need a little channel like this channel here. Like a little rabbit that you do. Okay, that channel, if the water gets past the door rebate or past the excluder, which will be mounted in there, it'll get trapped by this little channel and then run down the door frame, within the door frame, and then you can channel it outwards via your threshold, you see. Now, this one needs to be planed up. I like to actually create all my channels and all my little recesses and another channel here for the draft excluder and cut my rebates. These ones have been done on the table saw. I used to have a spindle moulder, but I got rid of it. I hardly ever used it, so I thought, what's the point of that? So I just cut them out on the table saw, and also it gives you a nice chunk of wood to use for something else. It does. Especially if you use a thin curved saw blade. Now, the thing is, you see, I'll be cleaning these up with a carriage plane, which I did have here a minute ago. Oh, I'll put it back in the rack. It's like a plane, like a rebate plane, that allows me to get right up against these edges. So I'll be cleaning them all up afterwards. So I cut everything, like for instance the channels, the rebates, rabbits, and then I clean it up with the actual hand plane. Not like I get a really smooth, lovely, silky rebate, you see. But this one, I haven't done it. So how did I do that one? I'll tell you how I did it. I did it with a little router, like this one, but not with that bit in. No, because it's got a chamfer bit in. So the thing is, though, how do you hold it in there so it don't keep rocking over? And if you've got like a flute bit in there, effectively what you're going to be doing, the flute bit will be going at an angle like that, and you won't end up with a straight little channel, will you? Like that one. No, it won't be straight. It'll be all over the place. So what you need is a jiggy kind of arrangement. Yeah, a jiggy. I like to have a jig. You've got to get jiggy with it. That is my little jig thing. Oh, anyway, it's like a fence, okay? And this unit here is another little palm router like this Katsu. This one is a Genmitsu by SaneSmart. Well, SaneSmart sent them over to me. They also make CNC machines. I got one through there, actually. And other pieces of kit. Now, what you've got to do is, you've got to mimic your rebate, okay? What you've got to have support. So all I've done is, if you look here, I've had a little piece of plywood. So I'll keep all my scraps of plywood and bits of wood and stuff like that, you know, unless it gets absolutely stupid, then I have a Claro. And all I've done, I haven't sanded anything. I just go bang, bang with a nail gun, maybe a little bit of glue to lock it into place. It doesn't like wobble about on the nails. And I've created this little fence. Now, the amount of play I got there is the amount of play I need to create the width of channel that I want. It's only a 10mm bit in there at the moment. I don't think that's wide enough for a door this size. So I made it a little bit wider. I made it to be able to hold and to carry enough water if it does get past. It also needs to be deep enough to be able to do that job. So I've set the router bit just past. Now it's actually poking it quite a way if you look, isn't it? Because it has to get past the rebate. Now on this little sledge, I suppose, this piece here, right, mimics the rebate, so it provides the support for the rebate. Yeah, so once you're on there, it's the resting. It's going to be in the same position every single time. All right. So the thickness of that, it's actually slightly thinner, but that's near as damn it. So the thickness of this piece here, okay, needs to be the same as the rebate. Now how I started off though, I just got a piece of plywood. I haven't cut it or anything like that. I just slapped it on the top there like so with a piece of plywood, and I nailed a piece on that side for the fence, as you see. Nailed a piece on this side for the fence, and then I added this little spacer. So that effectively gave me the sledge to slide along the rebate, or rabbit. But how do you hold the actual router in place? Well, as you see, it's fairly self-explanatory. All I did first is I marked the centre to where I wanted the rebate or the channel to be, the water bar, or the water drip channel. Oh, crikey, I forgot what it's actually called. Anyway, it's a little channel anyway. And I marked it on the middle of this piece of plywood. I drilled a hole, a clearance hole, that would be big enough for the nut on the actual router itself. This little nut here, right? That big nut, big lock nut on the collar, right? So that can clear it. So I ain't got no risk of it going deeper, that it's going to potentially be rubbing against that sledge, or sled. Now, once I got that in there, I created a little stop on this side, because there's a little flat area on this one. Yours might be different. If you've got a square-based router, you just do it accordingly, alright? If you've got a bigger router than this, well then you need to make sure that this is bigger, alright, so it can encompass the whole plate. Now you could make it so you could actually screw it to the bottom, so you remove the existing plastic plate, you line it up, and you can use the existing screws, or maybe longer ones, so you can actually screw that to that, but there's no need. As you see, I've created these little stops all the way round, the lower pieces, and then I've locked it down with these top clamping pieces. Now make sure you put clearance holes all the way through the top piece, otherwise it won't clamp, it'll just sort of spread itself, it won't do the job. So at the moment it's sort of like locked in there. Now it works really, really well. Now what you've got to remember also, we're going to use it in a minute, we're going to do a bit of this one, alright, just so I can show you. Now what you've also got to remember is the direction of the router. Now if you are routing inside a frame, for instance, I'll tell you what, I'll go and grab that Eureka Glues book here, because, you know, I've got a delivery from them today, yeah, well actually no, a couple of days ago now. If you want to know what the direction you should be routing in, you can use the loser. I call it the Donald Trump. Sorry for any MAGA out there, but anyway. I stick the things out like that, right? You use your thumb, okay? You point that up against, as if you're routing inside a frame, you point that against the side of the frame, and then that finger points the direction you need to push the router, alright, all the way around the inside of your frame, for argument's sake. Now the reason for that is the router bit rotates in this direction, and you want the cut to be against the timber, alright? If you do it in the other direction, if you're pushing in the other direction, you've got a risk of that riding over the top and becoming a drive wheel, and then it goes woof, yeah? And also what happens is you'll find you won't be cutting to the full depth to your fence. It's just wrong. Now the problem when you're doing a channel without actually making it wider on both sides, you might get a little bit of movement. Now when you're cutting a channel, effectively you're cutting on both sides of your router bit, and that can cause a bit of an issue. So that's why, another reason why, I make the actual channel a little bit wider. So I'll go down one side, and then I'll come back in the opposite direction, and what that will do is, by holding on either side of the fence, okay, and then I can make sure that I'm always in the right cut direction on the router. So what I mean by that is, if that is going there, been pushed along here like so, I'd be holding the router on that side of the fence, okay, holding it firm, and then when I come back, I'll be then in the opposite direction. I'll then be pushing on that side of the fence. You see there's a little bit of slop in there, and the slop is there to make the slot a little bit wider. If you want the same width as your router bit, you're going to have to be a little bit more ginger, and the reason why that is like I say, because you'll be cutting on both sides of your router bit. You have one side that's going to be trying to push that way, and the other side's going to be trying to pull the other direction. It also makes a bit of a nasty noise as well. You can hear it, and it feels like there's a bit of vibration going on. Now ideally you want to do it in a couple of hits. Alright, I didn't bother with over there, I just did it in one hit. I just took it easy. Another thing is you need to make sure you clamp your workpiece down. So this is when my head is going to disappear at the top of the frame. Oh, you can't see my beautiful face. Alright, so what you've got to do is you've got to clamp this down somehow. Or, okay, you can literally just use a couple of rubbers. Yeah, a Durex. No, a couple of these things. These are, it's literally half a washing machine sound deadening pad. That's all it is. Okay, and I cut it in half, and I'll put one on each end. And that's usually enough just to grip the bench. You know, if you're doing some really heavy work, what have you, with the router, you're going to want to clamp it down. But with this, that's enough to grip it for the purpose of using this little sled. So it's using a little sled. I'm not editing this video, so what you see is what you get. If I mess up, I mess up. The other thing you've got to realise, if, for instance, because I made a cock up earlier, oh dare I admit it? Yes, I will. I'm going to show you what happens, alright? This is what happens when you're not paying bloody attention. Yes, I swore, because I've got something I've got to sort out now. Now, I've cut in this little channel in that direction, alright? I didn't want to show you this, but I thought better anyway. Got to be honest, didn't you? Anyway, I hadn't tightened the cutter in the collar tight enough. It's a new router, and you need to really yank it down on that little Sound Smart within reason. And what happened is the router bit started working its way down. I thought, hang on, this isn't right. It feels more resistance. That means the back router bit's happened before, you see. So I knew what was happening, and I stopped. And as you can see, it's deeper there, where the router bit was literally starting to come out of the collar across here. Right. So remember that. Right? I'm gonna have to router that out again and plonk a bit of wood and router over the top of it. Yeah, I can't have it like that. It looks silly. So let's put you back on the old tripod. Get on there, you. I don't want to drop my camera. Oh, there you are. No, we're on. So, there we go. We have our piece of wood. Let's try and make so you can see it. So, bring this over here. Yeah, obviously, this is for the purpose of the video. I wouldn't normally be doing it at cack-handed angles. No. It's the worst thing you can do. But I'm going to do it for you, you see, because I'm lovely like that. I'm lovely. Tell the missus. Right, okay. So, for my first cut, I'm actually going to put the pressure on this side of the fence and bring it forwards, like so, or backwards towards me. And that way, the right-hand side, which is going clockwise, is the important cut. It's the one that I want to make. It's good in the right direction, so I should get a smooth finish. I'm not going to do the whole length. I'm just going to show you a couple of feet, about a metre. So make sure you're not engaging anything before you switch your router on, and listen to the tone of the router as you're actually doing it. Now, whenever you stop, you will cause a burn mark. It's just how it is, all right? So you'll try and keep your movement smooth and just keep travelling, all right? Slow down and manoeuvre yourself if you have to, if you're doing a long length. But other than that, just try and not to stop. Because if you stop, you will cause a burn mark, which you have, ideally you want to get out. Because it looks horrible. Look horrible it do. So here we go. That way. Now, don't be tempted not to clamp this down, because what can happen is you can accidentally lift it off. If that's right, hold on there, that'll work. But if you don't actually put these little clamp pieces on, you can actually pull that out there really easily and then chew something up with the router, with the actual router bit itself, or yourself, which you don't want to do. Okay, so let's bring it to you. There it is. Okay, so that is what we did just now, right? Oh, dusty. Oh, I shouldn't do that in my camera. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's just lightly dust it. Make sure there's no dust in the camera. There's another camera ready for this space. One that hasn't got moving parts. Right, so there you are. That's the channel. Works, doesn't it? Simple. It's really easy. It allows for the distance we've got here. Alright? And now if any water gets past this section, this rebate, so the door is going to be mounted across here, you see. That'll be the outside of the door. So if any water trickles down here, between the door and the frame, and then starts trickling down the frame like it would do here, that would end up inside, wouldn't it? It would just end up making your floors all wet. Now what happened now is, the water will drip down, this becomes like a void, and then it'll follow the void and track down the void instead of coming in. So that's why you must have a little water drip or water channel like that on your door frames. I can't remember what the proper name is. Oh, blimey. Terrible me. I'm going to get out my old carriage plane and I'm now going to clean up my rebates. That's what I'm going to do. Well, actually, once I've finished these channels. Anyway, please beat the old like button and maybe subscribe to the channel and a little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket that you do every time I upload another video. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, just beat the old like button. Toodaloo.